What is going on, guys? My name is Aaron, and this is the Game Day Hour. Welcome back to another episode. It is episode 32, and we are going to continue on our Fantasy Hour and Game Day Picks series. Today, we're looking at week 9 of the NFL season, and it's a pretty interesting week because of fantasy and that situation, what's going on, and some of the games that are about to happen. So, of course, we're going to lay out the rules. We're first going to talk about what happened last week with fantasy football, the lineup I'm going to try to be pulling off this week versus who I'm going to be playing. And then afterwards, we're going to be looking at all the games that we're going to be playing from Sunday to Monday, and it's going to be ranked from the worst to the best game. So I hope you guys are ready, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'm actually getting really close to 100 subscribers, so I would really love to hit it by the end of the year. So yeah, if you're new here, please hit that sub button. Anyways, let's get started. Last week did not go very well. I lost 100 to 136, making my record 3-5 on the year. It's injuries that are hurting me. So first off, Jordan Love goes out. So does Brian Thomas, so he doesn't get more points. And Deebo Samuel had to go out late in his game, and he was my last hope. Amari Cooper had no points. He barely had any targets throughout the game. Nick Chubb didn't run too much. But Jonathan Taylor is back, and he did put up 26. And the Kansas City Chiefs defense put up 28, and Butker was 10 points. They underperformed than I thought they would, which was unfortunate. But yeah, unfortunately, the injury bug just keeps hitting my team, and even my lineup is very, very tight. I'm just having to wait till week 10 or whenever they get Pacheco back because I'm going to need him and McCaffrey to really carry this lineup. As for my opponent, Josh Allen put up 33, Montgomery put up 15, Kamara 11, Jefferson 21, Laporta 10, and the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, which I need to do really bad, got 32. So I am 3-5, and now I am in 8th place. I need to get out of this hole. I need a win this week, but I just need my players to get healthy. Nobody is getting healthy, and that's a problem. So, as we look on to week 9, this is going to be a very tough week. I am projected to lose. And this is not one of my better lineups. As a matter of fact, the lineup that you're about to see, there's some holes in there that this is definitely not going to be the final lineup. This is just what I have so far. And for certain hopes, that would be the best possible lineup. So, I have CJ Stroud, Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Isaiah Pacheco if they were to start him, which I don't think they're going to, Amari Cooper, Brian Thomas Jr. if he manages to play this week, which doesn't look like it's going to be that way either, Harrison Butker, and the Chiefs defense. So I'm not even that confident with Stroud. The problem with Stroud is he just lost Stephon Diggs for the year. Hopefully he gets Nico back soon because right now his wide receiver core is extremely thin, but even with last year having a very thin core, he was still really, really good. Jonathan Taylor, I have little worries about. They know how to use him very well. Hopefully they start using Nick Chubb. If Pacheco plays, I'm definitely going to start him. But other than that, if he doesn't play, I'll probably throw in DJ Moore in his position. Amari Cooper, he needs to have a better game for me. Brian Thomas Jr., if he doesn't start, I'm looking to probably drop Deebo because it just seems like Deebo is going to be a problem throughout the year. And now I have McCaffrey. I feel like that's going to be a lot better for San Francisco. I am dropping Deebo for somebody, and I'll probably let you guys know who it is as we look over to next episode. And then Butker and the Chiefs defense, I just need the Chiefs defense to do a lot better this week. They are playing a tougher opponent, but their defense has been really, really steady this year. So as long as that stays good, I don't have to worry about the defensive side of the ball. As for my opponent is starting Dak Prescott, Jahmyr Gibbs, Malik Nabers, Devon Achane, CeeDee Lamb, Marvin Harrison Jr., Daniel Carlson, and the New York Jets defense. Obviously, I can put some damage on the Jets defense if Stroud is able to play very well against them. So that's going to be one of the earlier matchups. Other than that, I'm projected to lose by 10 points. And if I lose, I'm just putting myself in a deeper hole. I really need to win, but I just don't have any healthy pieces ready to go. So many of my players are out or questionable, and it's just tough. So right now, I do not look good at all. As a matter of fact, thinking long and hard about it, I'm probably going to bring in Ladd McConkey since he is supposed to get higher production, but we'll see how that goes. Obviously, he's not going to be a set-in-stone piece going down the line when I got McCaffrey, but I have to wait till next week. So anyways, that's going to do it for the fantasy hour. Now it is time for the game day picks. Last week, I went 12-4 which is one of my better weeks, and that puts my record overall up to 78-45. I have been killing it so far in these last few weeks, so I hope to continue to make the picks better, of course, because, man, this is going to be a little bit of a tougher week because some of these matchups are a lot better than last week's matchups. As a matter of fact, let's get into it. So, the worst game of the week is between the 2-6 New Orleans Saints and the 1-7 Carolina Panthers. I know injury has a large part to play, but the Saints have really fallen off. For a second, they looked like Super Bowl contenders after 2 weeks. Now they're exactly who I thought they were going to be. I said they would finish the season off 6-11. Right now it's trending in that direction. As for the Panthers, I mean, I thought they'd play a lot better with Andy Dalton, but it doesn't seem like that's really the case. These two teams are just so bad and so laughable at the same time. I don't know where I really want to go. Derek Carr is supposed to come back, but I just feel like the Saints' woes are just too much at this point. I'm going to take the Panthers 20-17. It's not going to be impressive at all, but I do think that Carolina can niche a win now because the Saints are a disaster overall. And even when Derek Carr comes back, one of his biggest weapons, Rashid Shaheed's out for the year. And he has not connected well with Olave all season long. So it just doesn't seem like anything's going to get better even when he comes back. I'm going to take the Panthers in this one. The second worst game, or the 13th best ranked game, is going to be between the 2-6 New England Patriots and the 1-6 Tennessee Titans. Now, New England had a big win against the Jets, but then again, this just proves that the Jets are spiraling out of control right now, so there's nothing going right in New York. New England still does not have any hope. They have no identity overall, and I know they won on a game winner. They were clutch, but still. Tennessee, on the other hand, is 1-6. They just got done getting beaten to shred. I mean, they were destroyed by Detroit. It was so humiliating. And because of that humiliation, the fact that I do think Tennessee has better pieces, they're going to come out a little bit angry. And they're going to win 19-14, a close, low-scoring game because Tennessee doesn't have that much firepower overall. I mean, they just lost DeAndre Hopkins to the Chiefs, and their running game is not as it used to be. So Tennessee is going to win, but barely. The 12th ranked matchup is between the 2-6 Las Vegas Raiders and the 3-5 Cincinnati Bengals. It's simple. This is supposed to be a lot closer based on record, but if you know these teams, it's not that way at all. Now, the Raiders have had some shocking wins this year, especially that one win against the Baltimore Ravens, but we're really far away from that. They're no longer that kind of team. They lost their number one receiver, and they're just a shell of themselves. They're not great at all. They have no hope. Even that defense is not going to help their offensive woes. Cincinnati needs this game badly because they're starting to fall behind big time in the AFC North. So if the Bengals can get this win and start to go on a streak, they can catch back up and maybe they'll jump into the playoffs. But overall, it doesn't seem like the Raiders have any hope. I'm going 26-16 Cincinnati in this one. I'm pretty sure most people would pick the Bengals because the Raiders are just a mess. But Cincinnati, they're so glad that a game like this comes on their schedule because, man, it's not been looking good. So yeah, go Cincinnati. Our 11th ranked matchup is between the 2-6 Jacksonville Jaguars and the 5-2 Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia, I believe, has finally caught its stride. It's been waiting for a while, but they finally got something going, and it looks really, really good, especially in the run game, and their defense looks a lot better. And Jacksonville, I mean, I can't necessarily count them out yet, but it really feels that way when you realize the Texans are close to getting to 10 wins, and that's just where I think Jacksonville, at their peak, they have to go on a big run. And they will probably not catch up. Right now, it's just a race between the Colts and the Texans have a very steady lead over the entire AFC South. And then Philadelphia, they're in a race right now with Washington. Man, when that matchup comes, that's going to be big time. In this matchup, if Brian Thomas doesn't play, and even if he does, I still have Philadelphia in this one. But judging on where Brian Thomas stands health-wise, I don't think there's much offensive power for Jacksonville. So Philadelphia is going to win this one 31-14. I mean, the Eagles overall are just so good. And offensively, I'm a little terrified of them because we're going to have to play them in a few weeks, and I'm not excited at all. So yeah, Philadelphia, I'll give you the nod in this one, big. Okay, now we're jumping into the top 10, and at the number 10 spot, we have the 6-2 Washington Commanders versus the 2-6 New York Giants. These two teams are so polar opposite. One has such a laughable offense, the other one explosive. Washington, and to be fair, they should be 5-3 if Chicago did their job, but Chicago didn't, and unfortunately for them, they're going to have to be embarrassed for the entire week, while Washington now sits at the number 2 spot in the entire NFC behind Detroit. Their offense is so good. Now, it wasn't in the last game, but generally their offense is super powerful, and I think it's going to stay the same way. The Giants, I mean, they were in a very hard-fought game against Pittsburgh, but for a majority of it, the Steelers were crushing them. They have no hope of winning this one. Give me the Commanders to win big, 35-17. I know last time when it was in Washington, it came down to a field goal. That doesn't matter. Washington is a lot more different than they were then. They're way more powerful and way more dangerous overall. This team is fighting to win the NFC East convincingly. And I think nobody had them, not even me. I didn't have them winning. I had Philly. But right now it looks like Washington can run away with this division, and they have a very easy game on their schedule this time around. So give me the Commanders to win. Coming in the number 9 spot, we have the Chargers at 4-3 versus the Browns at 2-6. This one is ranked higher than Washington because I do believe there's going to be more of a landslide victory for that one. And this one I think is going to be very competitive. The Chargers defense is pretty impressive, but overall their offense is just kind of there. It's good, but it's nothing to run home about. I do not like that offense too much. And I used to think the same way for the Browns until Jameis Winston comes out and beats the Baltimore Ravens. That's insane. The Browns, in their first game without Deshaun Watson, they've needed to make this quarterback change. It's just unfortunate that it came due to an injury. But the Browns overall, I mean, they look so much better, night and day better. And I believe that they're going to continue this streak and win 28-20 over the Los Angeles Chargers. I just think that when Cleveland is able to bring in the running game, which wasn't that easy to do in the last game, and it wasn't good, I think once they're able to implement that, their offense is going to be clicking on all cylinders. And their defense is finally going to get the break it needs by actually having a good offense. So yeah, give me the Browns in this one, just by 1 score. The number 8 spot, we have the 3-4 Dallas Cowboys and the 5-3 Atlanta Falcons. My Cowboys are so disappointing. I mean, I knew they were going to lose, but man, that was just crushing. We almost came back and won, but it was not enough, of course. I don't know what Dallas has to do because they have no pieces. They have nothing. This is probably the worst Cowboy team I've seen in a long while under Dak Prescott. And it's just unfortunate. I mean, I don't believe our owner is a good owner. I think he's kind of put us in a hole. Dak's not playing good at all. Our coach isn't great at all. There's nothing that is going for this team. Their defense is terrible. And I know they're going to start getting a little bit healthier, but still, they're awful. They need a lot of pieces. We lost so much in the offseason and did not regain anything. And then there's the Falcons. The Falcons, obviously, they had a big offseason getting Kirk Cousins, and that's night and day. I mean, Atlanta's taken a very hard lead over the NFC South. And so I believe that's going to continue. The Falcons offensively are just a different kind of breed than what they were in the last few years. Atlanta's going to win this game 31-27. I only think that Dallas is going to score 27 is because fourth quarter, garbage time. Other than that, I think the Falcons are actually going to own this game for the most part. So yeah, give me Atlanta to win. Our 7th ranked matchup is between the 4-3 Chicago Bears and the 4-4 Arizona Cardinals. Chicago, do you want to talk about it? Number 29 probably feels sick to his stomach, but that is karma at its finest. I just think that Chicago was not ready at all for that Hail Mary. They were so discombobulated on that play. When you take a look back, nobody knew what they were doing. And then there's Arizona. I mean, the Arizona Cardinals are tied with San Francisco and Seattle with the same record. But at the moment, if the playoffs were to start today, the Cardinals would win the NFC West because of their matchup record versus their own rivals. This is going to be a very close game because Chicago's defense is actually really, really good, even though it blundered for them. But Arizona's offense is really, really talented. and they were able to win toe-to-toe with the Miami Dolphins, who just got Tua back. So that was a big win for them. And Arizona, they just need to continue to move upwards. This is going to be a race towards the end, and it's not going to be an easy one. San Francisco is about to get back McCaffrey, and they're on a bye right now. As for the Rams, they just got back Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, and Seattle is still pretty loaded on offense. So Arizona is going to need a game like this. I think that they're going to win 21-20, a very close one, and one they really need. To stay on par with the NFC West, they have to take these games, and this is, I believe, the start. Arizona should improve to 5-4. The 6th ranked matchup is between the 4-4 Indianapolis Colts and the 5-2 Minnesota Vikings. Indianapolis finally got back Jonathan Taylor, but that offense just, it's not clicking like I thought it was going to. I mean, they're good, but, Jonathan Taylor's their best offensive player, and I'm so glad. But overall, their team is just very mid. It's a very okay team. And Anthony Richardson, I mean, he's getting a lot of flack right now, which he deserves it because, come on. You can't say that I got tired and you just called out a play. Players are not going to like that at all. As for Minnesota, you start off 5-0. And then you lost your last two. Detroit, that was understandable. And the Rams, I guess it was understandable. And you kind of got hosed out of it. But it does not matter because the defense did not look good in those games. I do believe that offensively, Minnesota is still very scary. I mean, Justin Jefferson is still really, really good. This matchup is going to be very close because offensively, I think they're very equal. I mean, Minnesota has a definite edge. I'm going to take the Vikings to win 30-27. I think it's going to be close. And for a Sunday night game, I am glad it's going to be a close game. Minnesota, they just need to get back on track because Detroit and Green Bay, one, they're catching up, and they really need this kind of game. So if they want to stay on par, you got to win Sunday night. Now we're in the top 5 games. At number 5, we have the 2-5 Miami Dolphins versus the 6-2 Buffalo Bills. Now, this doesn't seem like a top 5 matchup until you realize that Miami just got Tua back and now their offense looks to be clicking a lot better. I think that this is something Miami really, really needs because Buffalo's running away with this division. New England poses no threat. The Jets at this point, they do not pose a threat. Miami can get back into this division race with a win. But Buffalo is one of the hottest teams in football. They are amazing offensively. And this is going to continue. One, it's in Buffalo. It's probably going to be a lot colder there, and you know how the Dolphins are in cold weather situations. They're not great. So this is easy. Give me the Buffalo Bills to win 27-21. I do think Tua is going to do a lot better, but losing a game like this is going to sting, knowing that Buffalo just gets this super big lead advantage. Because who knows if the Jets are going to win their game on Thursday night. And as for New England, it's really, really tough. They have a favorable matchup, but it's still not going to be easy for them. So it looks like Buffalo is just going to run away with this division. I guess that's probably what's going to actually happen because I don't see how Miami's going to win this game. Give me the Bills. At the number 4 spot, we have the 3-4 Los Angeles Rams versus the 4-4 Seattle Seahawks. The Rams got healthy at a really, really good time. So here's the situation. They just got back Cooper Kupp and they got back Puka Nacua. They are 3-4, and every single team, Arizona, Seattle, and San Francisco, are at 4-4. So they are not too far behind. If they win a game like this and Arizona ends up losing to Chicago, they can jump the NFC West and start to sit in that spot of the lead, even though here comes San Francisco, here comes Christian McCaffrey. That's going to be really, really tough. Rams need this game big time. Seattle, they should not be trying to give up a game like this. I mean, they were 3-0 in their last 5 games. They're 1-4. They are not playing great at all. And I just think momentum-wise, the Rams have all of it. They're going to win 31-26 and have a firm spot in that NFC West race. Something that is well needed, and they should have been in this race. Who knows what the record would have been had they stayed healthy? They could be leading this race big time. Who knows? But as where it is, they're in last place, but could make a big jump. Give me the Rams. The number 3 spot, we have a pair of 5-3 teams. The Denver Broncos and the Baltimore Ravens. Denver is shocking to me because I thought they were going to be the worst record in the entire AFC. And right now, even though it's going to be a tough race for them to win because Kansas City's still undefeated, Denver looks good. Bo Nix has he stepped up. Now, I still don't think he's the rookie of the year. I'm still giving that to Jaden Daniels, but he's starting to get there. He's looking a lot better, and Denver looks better overall. As for Baltimore, I mean, you had this run of dominance for 5 games, and then you lose to a Cleveland Browns team which is just in shambles. That's not a very good look. They need to go back to just being ground and pound because that's the best kind of offense they have. Overall, this matchup is tough because I'm taking Baltimore, but not convincingly. Based on the score, 20-26, I see this game going into overtime. I do think the Ravens are going to pull it out, which is big, but the Ravens have a tough list of things they need to do right now. You got to keep up with Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh's overachieving. Who would have thought that the Pittsburgh Steelers would be in the position to lead the entire AFC North? I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought they'd been last in the AFC North, but right now it's not trending in that direction. But Baltimore, you got to win this game. But if you're Denver, I mean, the Chargers are slightly behind your tail. The Raiders are no threat. You're really fighting with them because you're not going to catch up to Kansas City, but you can make the playoffs. I think that this game is very important for both teams. Baltimore needs it for the division's sake. Denver needs it just to keep up in the wild card. But both sides are very important. And if Denver wins this game, that'll be shocking, but I don't think they are. Give me the Ravens. The second best matchup is between the 4-4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs on Monday night. This matchup I thought was going to be a lot better, and it was originally going to be number 1. But Tampa Bay has lost a lot of its receivers. I mean, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, it's just going to be tough for Baker Mayfield to deal with that very tough front of Kansas City. I think that this is very favorable for Kansas City overall. I mean, undefeated, you got DeAndre Hopkins, and your offense is slowly starting to click once more. And your defense, of course, has been playing great all year. It wasn't an amazing performance against the Raiders, but still it was a good performance overall. I do think that the Buccaneers are a step up, so they're going to have to play a lot better, but Kansas City, I believe, is going to win this game 31-13. I think that their defense is really going to dictate how this game goes, and Monday Night Football, that's Patrick Mahomes' time, and everybody knows it. I believe that Mahomes is going to have a really good game. I think DeAndre Hopkins is going to have a really good game, and defensively, of course, Kansas City is probably going to dominate. This would be a lot different if the Buccaneers wide receivers were not injured, but since they are injured, there's no shot I'm taking Tampa Bay in this game. Give me the Chiefs. And then the number 1 matchup this week is an NFC North showdown between the 6-1 Detroit Lions and the 6-2 Green Bay Packers. This is a big game for both teams. Right now, the Lions sit atop the entire NFC, but if the Packers can win this game, they could potentially sit atop the NFC depending on how Washington goes. Right now, I like both of these teams. The biggest question mark, though, is Jordan Love's health. Jordan Love recently got injured in this game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, which hurt me in fantasy overall, but I couldn't believe that he went out. That sucked. Detroit, on the other hand, they have been whipping every single team in their path. It first started with a blowout win in Dallas, a close but still high-scoring game against the undefeated Vikings at the time, and they just went to town against Tennessee, 52-14. I mean, wow. Detroit is the scariest team in all of football. They are better than the Kansas City Chiefs right now. I know the Chiefs are undefeated, but if both teams went head-to-head, the Lions would hand Kansas City its first loss. They're just great on all sides of the football, defensively, offensively, on special teams. And Green Bay, Jordan Love's not going to be at 100%. This is simple. Despite it still being a high-scoring game, it's going to be a little more lopsided. Give me the Lions to win 38-27. Green Bay's offense is going to be nice even with Jordan Love. But Detroit, they are a different breed right now. There's no team in this league that I would take over the Detroit Lions right now. Detroit wins, stays atop the NFC convincingly. So go Lions. And that'll do it for today's episode. I'm sorry if it seems like my talking is very bad. I have such a dry mouth. I've been drinking water in every single take. This sucks. but it's the best that I was able to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And if you do, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. I'm excited for this week. I need fantasy super bad, because if I don't, this is going to be tough to climb out of. I just need to make the playoffs and have this healthy team on my hands. If I don't have it, it's going to suck, but I just have a big injury bug right now. Right now, the NBA season has also kicked off, which looks good for my Mavericks right now. But still, there's a lot of work to be done there. And with the World Series, I did pick the Dodgers. I thought it was going to go to 7 games. Right now, it looks like it's just going to be a clean sweep because the Yankees can't get anything done. But of course, you'll know that before I know that, because I'm recording on a Tuesday prior to that game. We will probably already be done with the World Series by the time this episode comes out, so you'll know. Anyways, if you haven't already, please go follow me on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and continue to take a look at the YouTube Shorts. Again, subscribe if you haven't already. We are close to 100 subscribers. Let's see if we can get it by the end of the year. Anyways, that'll do it for me. I hope you guys have a great day. Take care, and I'll see you all in this next one. Peace out.